Hello and welcome to another video, and today I want to talk about redesigning ballistics, some of the issues that currently exist within the systems, as well as future ones that may occur with the release of the Civil War technologies. But to start off, let's just talk about where we are currently with ballistics, the different types we have, and their battlefield roles. We have the regular autocannon, which is your just general all-purpose. It's got a good rate of fire, it's got good damage, and you're not going to jam at all. You have your UAC, your ultra autocannon. It's got a higher rate of fire, but you have that uncertainty. Are you going to jam or not? You have the LBX, which is your shotgun-like weapon. It's stronger at shorter range, it's a little bit lighter, so it's better for those faster brawler mechs that can get in and do some work there. You have the Gauss rifle, which is your sniper weapon. You want to sit back, you want to charge that thing up and loose a shot from long distance. And finally, we have our machine gun, which is our very short range skirmishing weapon for lights and fast mediums to rip components apart with critical hits and that kind of stuff. But coming in the future, we're soon going to have both an expansion of weapons that are in those pre-existing categories, the IS mainly getting more LBX and more UACs, as well as more Gauss rifles with the light and heavy Gauss, and more machine guns, getting more of everything practically. But also rotary autocannons, which are going to be your constant high DPS but max face time type weapons. But let's go into some of the issues that currently exist in the game. And to start it all off, you gotta talk about it, and people sort of be like, oh, he's complaining again, but RNG and jam chances. I truly dislike random number generators in a skill-based game because it removes some skill from it. I've had multiple times where I've been like, well, this guy's dead to rights. All I need to do is fire twice out of my UAC and it jams on the double fire. And then the person knows that I'm behind them, they spin around, they shoot me, and I lose the game because there was just us two left and that was it. Like it's the style of situation that I found myself in multiple times in the past where I've had a person dead to rights, but because of a very bad dice roll, I lost it. And yeah, well, of course, people have a negativity bias. I'm going to remember that time when the jam chance screwed me over in the past more than I'm always going to remember the times where every single match where that jam chance just kept chugging over and over again and I got really good damage. I do realize that there is a negativity bias there, but it's still, I think, a bad system for the game to have random number generators be contingent on our damage output. So I would like to just remove the randomness part of UACs in the game because I just don't find it fun. I would replace it with one of two systems. We either have the weapon heat system. We can currently see that on the Flamer as it is now. And what I believe, although we don't have any details, but based on the that skill tree node description that was in the patch before they turned it back, it seems like rotaries are going to use the same kind of thing. As you fire the weapon slowly builds up a bar, and then once you reach the top, you jam. And this is something that is used in so many shooters. Like games I currently play, it's used in Warframe, and it's just universal. A lot of gamers know that system. You fire the machine gun too much, the barrel overheats, it sizzles, oh, I can't fire it for 5 seconds or 10 seconds because I shot it too much. If they manage it by only firing just enough and never overheat it completely, they can keep shooting it, but they're not at their highest fire rate. And I want that for UACs as well in this game. That's one of the systems that I'd like to see as a possibility, because then it would mean that your UACs are reliable for short bursts, but if you laid into them too long, they would jam and you would be out of commission for a set duration of time. There would be some counterplay to that. you could be like, wow, that guy's UACs are really firing. He stopped firing. He must be jammed. Let's push around this corner because we know we have impunity. And you could have those kind of mental games and fun combat situations. The other is to do something that World of Tanks does for its auto loaders, which is to have a clip. So you would have your, say, UAC 5, and you would load, I don't know how many shots, 5, 6, who knows. But you would load those 6 shots, you would fire them out at an increased firing rate compared to a regular autocannon. But then, after they were done shooting, you would have a really long reload. It's like you're taking all of the reloads that would normally be in between the different shells and putting them all at the same time. This is just another type of system. It'd be pretty much the exact same effect as the weapon heat system. It would just mean that UACs are very reliable for short DPS, but are unreliable for long-range engagements, not long-range, long-duration engagements, because they have downtime in between their bursts. And I think that would be better exemplifying what the UAC was, which was a burst weapon, and would make it more interesting and less of a headache for the player. Your UAC either jamming because it got too hot or running out of shells is entirely your fault. If you didn't plan ahead to be back in cover at that time, you could, it's like that's your player's fault. You didn't think about it. But with the current system, it's just, oh, I stepped into cover and it was going to be perfect and I was going to drop a guy, but randomness, all 3 of my UAC 5s and my Ilya Mermets jammed all at the same time. Whoop-de-doo, I'm dead. And so to remove that bad aspect of the game. When we're moving forward, we are going to be looking at also ammo. There's this weird inconsistency right now when it comes to ammo, as AC-10s have way more ammo per ton than the rest of them, which is weird. Can't remember when that occurred, but at some point in the past, they upped the ammo count for AC-10s. So AC-10s have 200 damage potential per ton. So if you fired every single shot and hit every single shot out of that ton, it would do 200 damage. Where basically everything else has 150 damage per ton. So that's just weird. Maybe it's because AC-10s in the past were in a bad spot, but nowadays they're okay. We don't really have to worry about them that much, I'd say. So maybe we bring them back down to where they were, or maybe bring everything else up a little bit and bring AC-10s down a little bit to sort of meet in the middle. I'm not sure, but it's just an inconsistency. When I make spreadsheets, I hate inconsistencies, so that one's an interesting one. Just another thing to think about. Another problem, and this is starting to get into things that are coming in the future. I want to go back to UACs. There was a reason in the first place that clans, when they were introduced, had burst fire weapons, because they were going to get UAC 20s and UAC 10s. So the developers went, shit, like we can't have front-loaded UAC 20s, right? Front-loaded UAC 10s. Let's just make them burst fire, and therefore the IS will have these single-shot AC 20s that we can only fire once, but you can have it all in one spot, and so they can twist immediately, while the clan side is going to have this UAC 20. They're going to be able to fire out 40 damage per volley, but it's going to be in multiple shells, and it's going to be spread across the entirety of the enemy mech, hopefully. That I can see as a good idea, because we had the front-loaded IS and the burst fire but higher volume clan. Okay, that sounds great. But we're getting UAC 20s and 10s on the IS side very soon, next month. So how are they going to function? Are they going to be front-loaded single shots? I actually am really frightened about that possibility. I see like a lot of the mediums and heavies on the IS side being like, well, a Hunchback 4G or whatever it is, like, it's not a super powerful mech, but if it can peek over a corner and go boom boom with 2 AC-20s, that's really strong. And I have concerns, basically. What I'd like to do is, again, get rid of an inconsistency here and just make all UX, clan, and IS side burst fire. Yes, make the clan side a little bit worse in their burst. Have them additional shells. Have them fire over a longer duration. That's a good idea, most likely. But at least for the IS side, break, like, I'd break the autocannon 5 maybe into 2 shells. Like what the clan has currently. The Ultra 5 is 2 shells, Ultra 10 is 3 shells, Ultra 20 is 4 shells. And then for the clan, I maybe +1 them. Put them back to where they used to be, because they actually had 3 shells for an AC5 in the past for clans. That's one way of doing it, or do what the clans have currently and leave them there, and then do IS -1. So the AC10 would be 2 shells, and the AC20 would be 3 shells for the IS. Something to break up that damage. It's the tiniest bit. That's all I want. Because I'm actually really frightened about UX on the IS side in the upcoming Civil War. And it's something I'm going to be testing a lot. A pair of UAC 10s on a Warhammer, a UAC 20 on a medium sort of thing, and see how it goes. And then, last thing to do is, again, one of these inconsistencies. I want to have these tech bases closer together, which is what I think that they're trying to do, is the fact that we were originally possibly having clans with swappable ammo for the LBXs to get slugs. So clans could have had a front-loaded weapon system, but the ammo swapping was just never happened. Like, it's just not occurring. I'm assuming that ammo swapping is just not going to occur, and it's on a back burner that's so far away you can't even reach it anymore. So why not just give clans a version that's front-loaded? Make it so that while I'm asking for the IS to have this burst fire with their UX, we should do the exact same and have regular ACs, because we have them on the clan side. We have the regular AC 2, 5, 10, 20. Make those single shot. And that way, it's the exact same on either side. They all have the same benefits, and you can instantly tell, either with whichever side you're fighting. Is that a UAC that's shooting at me? Is that an LBX that's shooting at me? Or is that an AC that's shooting at me? Because you should be able to tell just from the sound of it hitting. Like a Gauss round has a specific sound. An AC round has a specific sound. A UAC is the plink, 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 plink in a short duration. The LBX is this all at the same time. And just regular ACs. Like, that would make it so that the clans that did choose to do the regular ACs would be giving up their opportunity to double tap under the UAC system. They would be losing out on some potential DPS. However, if they wanted to, they could front load their weapon systems and have a single shot 20, single shot 10s. So just, again, this is removing inconsistencies and making it so the tech trees are more equal. And I know people will complain and say, well, same Warrior Online, you just want to get rid of everything that is flavorful. But from my understanding of lore, which, I mean, I'm not like diving into the books and a whole bunch of stuff like that, it's my understanding that there was different designs of these autocannons that came from different manufacturers, and something that was just labeled autocannon 20 could fire up to 20 rounds that were 1 damage each, but it was just labeled an autocannon 20 because that's how much damage it did. That's its rating. So basically, I'm just saying is we should have these different weapon systems, and regular ACs be this front-loaded howitzer type single shells, ultras be this DPS kings, the Gauss rifles be the long-range sniper things, and LBX be this short-range shotgun thing. But I'd love to hear what your thoughts are about these proposed changes, and put them in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Good hunting.